Hello, media entrepreneurs. It's another day of opportunity. I'm James Briner, and this is your News Biz, where we talk about the people creating the journalism of the future. You all know how tough it is to start and run a business, and I hope this podcast can help you. Today, we're going to be talking with Joanna Sullivan, recently promoted to a senior editor position with American City Business Journals, otherwise known as Biz Journals. Congratulations, Joanna, on your new position. You've been with the Business Journals as the editor in Baltimore for 25 years. And this is my official congratulations of 25 years at the Baltimore Business Journal.
Well,
And
thanks, Jim, and special thanks to you because you hired me. So I appreciate being given the opportunity 25 years ago.
25 years. So you have this new position. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. You know, my role at the Business Journal has been to run this newsroom for all these years, and I've seen so many changes from, pre-internet to now well into internet for a decade. And the new role is going to enable me to help other papers as well. So I will be working with our national news and content team on strategy. I'll be working with individual markets, making sure that they're meeting their goals, that they're hiring the right people, training people properly. And I really look forward to that kind of coaching role.
So of all the you've gone to a lot of the editor meetings over the years. What's going on at the editors meetings now that didn't go on 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What are how are the conversations different now?
Well, we are measured by metrics nowadays, which is very different. So now we know exactly what people are reading and how much they're reading. So we're trying to figure out how to give people content they want and still effectively covering our market. So there's a lot of talk about numbers, which we never used to do. So the words have to share space with numbers now.
Well, one of the things that I noticed with metrics was there are times when a publication, this is working with other publications in Latin America, Spain, around the world. A publication will spend a lot of time and research, energy on a big investigation, and then the metrics aren't there. And then you have to ask yourself, why? So when you look at a situation like that, what what kind of advice do you give to editors, writers, other people about how to make sure that their high quality content is reaching their audience? How do you do that? Or what do you recommend?
That's a tough one. We see that happen. We think a story is really important. And sometimes it is, and maybe it's not going to get a lot of eyes, but you still have to do that story. But a lot of times we look at how did we present it? Perhaps we didn't give it a good enough headline to let people know how important the story was. Or maybe we wrote too long and people lost interest or didn't want to jump into it, that we didn't get to the point soon enough. So you have to kind of look at that. We remain, though, a niche publication. So sometimes like a healthcare story that doesn't, do huge numbers will do enough to that we know that the people who read us to get their news needed to read that story. So sometimes it depends on the story. Of course, your restaurant stories are always going to do really well.
Hmm.
People love food.
Hmm.
Um, we notice, our real estate stories do really well because so many of our readers are interested in real estate.
We used to be a weekly publication. many, many years ago. And now, how does the 24/7 cycle and really the minute-to-minute cycle, how does that affect your newsroom and how you handle covering the news, breaking news, and all that sort of thing? How do you do that?
It's so different than before, it's nonstop during the day. It used to be like, oh, we're gonna have that story that's going to be on our front page. We used to decide on Wednesday what was going to be on the front page on Friday. And now it's like, okay, we got to get that up in the next hour. So it's very fast. The staff is a lot smaller than back in the day. We still have to do, the print paper, and we still have to do special publications and, the other things that we always had to do. But you have this daily component that never stops.
You mentioned that, your staff is smaller. What are some of the tools that you use now to offset that difference? Is it is it any easier?
It's different. I would say in some ways it's easier because we have, tools that help us. Someone gathers the research for us, the leads. If you recall, we used to have two people who used to do that. Uh,
Right.
so that's all done for us now.
What
And
what
then
about the book of lists? How has that changed?
the list pocket squares, the software we use to pull together, the data from the database. And I feel like that's really improved the way we do lists and how we make sure that companies are on several different lists, that you don't have to like reinvent the wheel for each list. So there's a lot of technology that's really helped us. Our software, I think we have the CMS, our content management system, I think is evolved and is pretty good to pull stories together. We're using AI now to help us with some headline suggestions. We're using AI as well. Currently at the Business Journal, we're part of a test market to do bullet points at top of stories with the three major points of the story. And we use AI to generate those. Now they need to be edited as well. So I'm not quite worried yet about the computer taking over my job, but it's definitely, that's different. We don't have to like write it ourselves.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I've used it for headlines. I've used AI for headlines too, and also for research. I've used uh, I've used Perplexity to search. It's really good at finding databases and sources.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever used that, but
Yeah, no, it is. But I definitely, I agree with one assessment that AI is kind of like having an intern. You still have to do the work.
right,
I saw that, I think, in the Wall Street Journal.
right, yeah. But interns can do a lot of
Yeah.
helpful work. I use human intervention all the time with language translation. There are some good language translation tools, but they all kind of fail when it comes to metaphors and
Yeah.
uh, and idiomatic expressions. Change the subject a little bit. Younger audiences. I mean, that's one of the things that people talk about. When I was with the business journals, every year they would do a reader survey, and every year the average age of the subscribers was going up. And that worried the management a lot. But I don't have to worry about that anymore. But you have to worry about that. So,
We still worry about it.
so what are you doing about it? I'm curious, without revealing any trade
Yeah.
secrets.
No one has the complete answer. And, we still do 40 under 40 is a big thing for us. We try to feature young people. We do like a tech 20, like under 25 and under tech awards. So we do aim a lot of content at them, but we do know that a lot of the readers, a lot of the people we covered, Jim, are retiring or unfortunately passing away. So we're really trying to just continue to give news to the younger generation that is taking over, and trying to show our relevance to them, because they have so many options now.
Yes. And one of the things that I've seen in the Reuters digital news report and Pew Research is that young people aren't paying any attention to the traditional distribution channels. I
Yeah.
mean, they're in another world. And so, what other worlds of distribution are you entering these days? What are
Well,
some of
we're
the new ones?
we're very big on Instagram and on social. We were, I think, a lot more before X, before Twitter became X. I think we were pretty active on there, but we're not finding a lot of success in that medium. But Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn is huge for us. And
Yeah,
we're finding, our audience is on LinkedIn. So we're doing a lot more in that area.
I'm finding that too. I get virtually no reaction to anything I put into Twitter or X,
Yeah.
or certainly not, definitely not Facebook. Yeah, LinkedIn has become the kind of place where my stuff about basically the business of media, that's what I focus on, is getting a lot of traffic. So, young readers, what about the issue of trust? Do you ever have any experience where you see various kinds of trolls are coming in and trying to hijack your content in any way? What kinds of experiences have you had with that?
We do eliminate some comments because you can get some really horrible comments on stories. So we have the power to, go through and take them out or block people. It's, constant. You have to worry about what people are saying. We try to let them comment on stories, but sometimes it's just, obviously a troll or just a horrible person, and it has no relevance to whatever, we publish.
So, is that something that you can in any way automate or
We
watch
do that
for?
individually. If we see something, we don't get a lot of it, but when we see something, we'll address it. We have, someone who deals with our social media, our digital producer. He's in there every day. And we use, programs to like automate what gets put up, but we can still control each item that goes up.
One of the things that we talked about the last time you and I talked, a couple of years ago now, was what do you tell young people? I mean, if you go to a journalism school now these days, do you still do that?
I still do that. Yeah. I have
Okay.
one coming up, the career fair at Maryland. Yeah.
University of Maryland Journalism School, of which you are a proud graduate.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And I know they like to bring you in. So, what do you tell journalism school students today? And more importantly, what do you tell their parents?
Well, I still tell them, if you really want to work in this business, there's still jobs and you can have a great career. Because I remember being in high school and people from the journalism industry would come in and they're like, none of you are going to work in the industry. It's too hard to get in. And I remember thinking, how come you're in it? Like, I remember this one guy. So I try not to discourage them because there's more opportunities now. I mean, I see job openings for the New York Times and Washington Post that you never used to see before. So hopefully, the industry is still, I know it's challenging industry. A lot of papers are gone, but there's still so many different areas where you can work and use your skills.
When you're hiring, what do you look for? And you're going to be doing national hiring advice right
I'm
now,
gonna
right?
help, yeah.
Oh, what are the things that you use and what are the things that the company in general uses when they hire? What do they look for?
Well, of course, great internships if you're talking to someone who is right out of college. What kind of practical experience they have. Advanced degrees in journalism, to me, without any experience, have never worked well when I've hired people because they had a, Columbia graduate school degree. The best people that I've had success with were people who were in, small papers, doing it every day, going to cover the fire, going to cover the school board meeting. It's harder to find those people because those staffs and those papers often don't exist anymore. So it's been a challenge to find, those kind of journalists who are a couple years, really in the trenches. So hiring is a challenge right now. There's not a lot of people in that like 6 to 7 year range out in the market. And if they are, they're coveted and you have to compete. And also, we're trying to retain those people as well.
What are some of the technical skills that maybe didn't exist that you look for now in a job application?
Somebody knows how to get stuff out on social media. They're not scared to use technology because they're going to have to do it now. I mean, we've tried getting into broadcast, but it's not really a skill that a lot of print journalists have. But if you can find someone who knows how to do that as well, it helps in some areas.
So is that are you doing broadcast? Does the
Not really, no. I think we kind of shied away from a matter of time and, return on investment. We do work with WBAL, but mostly we give them copy,
is that you're talking about WBAL TV or radio or both?
radio, TV, I'm sorry.
TV, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about? I've just covered a
Okay.
couple of the big questions I
Oh,
had.
no, I just, I think it's great that you're, really creating discussion around, journalism, because I think we have to keep talking about how it's changed and how we need to adapt. We can't talk enough about, planning for the future because I think there is a future in this business. And once people realize, that they need credible sources, I think, we'll continue to grow.
Well, that's a big issue. That's something I've been writing a lot about,
Yeah.
trust and credibility. And from the point of view that I'm working from in terms of trying to advise clients on how to, grow their revenue and so forth. Trust has an economic value. The advertisers, readers, there's so much untrustworthy content. So how do you approach this? Is there anything different that you're doing today as opposed to a few years ago because of the way people interact with media today? Are you doing anything different?
I think when it comes to trust, we're trying not to do anything different, just continue to be accurate, fair, balanced in your reporting, call people back, make sure you give every effort. I know it's fast now, the stories have to go up fast, but don't compromise, you know, being balanced, give the person a chance to respond before you put a story up. Make sure they know what's in the story. There's no surprises. And I think that's something that I had to continue to tell reporters, like someone should know what the story is about. I think you said that to me once, there should be no surprises when they pick up the paper.
What did
So
I mean? No,
like
what did you think I meant?
no, I think that, people should not wonder what, is being written about them. You need to tell them right off the bat. I'm doing this story that you're being sued by 20 people. Do
Right.
you have any comment?
What are some of the notable stories that you've done lately or that you've seen done by the business journals locally or nationally that you think had significant impact?
I did a cover story 2 weeks ago that was really happy with. I'm glad it was like probably going to be one of the last in-depth stories I get to write for a while. And it was on the anti-violence program in Baltimore. And it was not your typical business journal story. I tried to tie it into business because it's being heavily funded by businesses, by Whiting Turner and also M&T Bank. So it's gotten a lot of big corporate support. But I spent the day with the program going to meet, young men who are at risk of going to jail or dying on the streets. And this program is trying to give them job opportunities and their GED preparation. And I just got to talk to them, and very different from what we normally do. But, I got a lot of feedback from it, from business people who were interested in the subject.
So I've never seen The Wire. I have to, I mean, I might be the only
Oh yeah,
person in the world who hasn't. But whenever I tell anybody that I worked in Baltimore for a number of years, they
of
always
course.
ask me, "What, have you seen The Wire?" And and the answer is no. But somehow that must have some kind of impact on your journalists and how people view the media because of the way The Wire depicts the media and so forth. What are your observations about that?
Yeah,
What are
I'm
you?
kind of tired of the wire references, it's yes, the city has problems. Every American city seems to have a lot of problems, and I think David Simon, while he was a very good reporter and wrote some, good books and did some good TV shows, it's hurt the city in many ways. And it's not like it wasn't true, but some people just can't get away from that's the depiction of our city. And I've watched The Wire. I liked a couple of the seasons. A couple I thought were a little, I didn't like as much. They were a little far-fetched for me, but it's not the city, and it's going to take a long time for the city to recover from that. And there's a lot of great things going on here. It's a great place to live. I've enjoyed living here.
You live in the city.
I still live in the city, yeah. And there's it's not perfect, but city life is, not for the faint of heart, I think.
And your son's going to become a firefighter.
Yes, not in the city probably. But I think The Wire, I can't say enough. I mean, I'm so tired of The Wire.
This has been fun.
This has been
Uh,
fun. Thank you.
is there anything you want to ask me about?
What do you think about journalism right now?
Well, I worry about the trust issue because
Yeah.
of the avalanche
Yeah.
of misinformation, disinformation, unbelievably, no, avalanche isn't even the right word, inundation, tsunami,
Yeah.
um, the incredible flow that's automated and believable, very, very credible and very effective and very professional. And I think people generally, well, a lot of times they hear it often enough that they think, well, it must be true,
Yeah.
because they hear it so often, they see it so often. And then the fictional things, very dramatic stories, including on television, they really do affect people. Stories still are a great way of getting people to notice injustice, notice threats to the democracy, notice other things.
Yeah.
Drama stories still have great impact. A lot of times we as text-focused writers, sometimes we forget that and we write too much. I'm guilty. I plead guilty to that. So yeah, what I see is also a very difficult time as, journalism used to be a pretty good business. Now people are recognizing that it's because of all the instant flow of information and basically the information, really newsworthy information is free and will be, distributed. You can't claim it the way you could in the past. Because of digital, it completely disrupted the old models where we had a monopoly of distribution and production. And now, basically, journalism or trustworthy news and information is a public service more than a business. So that's a big challenge. So, in order to be effective as a business, like the business journals, you have to be in a niche, you have to produce unique content, you have to prove you're trustworthy, you have to build loyalty over time, and that's the challenge. It can still be a business, but it's much harder, I think. That's what I see.
You hit it. There's a lot to do if we're
Yeah,
going to stay relevant.
yeah. Well, you've been very generous with your time. I know you're really busy. You have a new job coming. It's 24/7. No, it's minute to minute every day. So I really appreciate you taking the
No,
time
this
to
has
talk
been
to me.
fun. I'm glad we could connect, and I hope to see you in person. We need to have like a BBJ reunion of our.
There you go. We'll have to do that. All right.
Hi to Cindy, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for giving me a forum.
All right.
Okay. I'll probably be picking your brain because I'll be doing a lot more big picture stuff. And
My brain is available to be picked.
okay, great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Bye
Bye.
now. If you liked this episode, please share it. And if you have suggestions of media entrepreneurs you would like me to interview or topics that you'd like me to cover, please email me at jamesbriner@gmail.com. I'll include the address in the show notes, where you'll also find some links to relevant articles for further reading. And thank you so much for listening to Your News Biz. And remember, it's another day of opportunity.